Howdy everybody, welcome back, and today we're going to get into a little bit of widgets and the health system and probably a couple other things, but that's our main goal. We want to have a functioning health system and we want the player to be able to see it on a progress bar. That would be under widgets. A HUD is a widget. HUD is short for heads up display, and while we're here, in Content Browser, right-click, New Folder, and let's call this one Widgets. So you might have noticed that my folders are all different colors. You can do this yourself by right-clicking on the folder, scroll up to Set Color, and it's just like that. Once you're done with all of those, go into your Widgets folder, right-click, scroll down to User Interface. User Interface Widget Blueprint. User Widget, and let's call this Main HUD. _ WB for Widget Blueprint. Double click, open it up, and you'll see this screen. The very first thing I like to do on these is find a canvas panel by, on the top left, use the search palette, canvas panel. Hold down left click and just drag it onto the screen. The next thing we're going to need is a progress bar. This progress bar is going to represent our health. So, on these fancy settings to the right, under progress, %, you can slide it left and right. It functions best on a float, but health normally isn't represented by blue. So to change the color, also on the right hand side, go down to Appearance, and you can change the color right there. Compile and save. Make sure you're at about 0.5% so that we can make sure that we're functioning correctly when we test it. Actually, to make sure that this scales, we'll deep dive into that later. Never mind, ignore me. Save, compile, save, close. And now, if we hit play, you'll see that there's nothing there. And that's because we're not calling our widget to the screen. So in order to see it when you're playing, you want to go back out to your main content folder, 2D Sidescroller BP, Blueprints, and open up your 2D Sidescroller blueprint. So, is there an event begin play here? There is. Perfect. Drag off of here, and we want a sequence. Put that one on the bottom. Now, if you end up with something like this and you want to know the shortcut to fix it, hold down Alt and left click. We're going to be working off of 0. And then drag off of it, create widget. So what widget are we creating? We're going to create the main HUD widget blueprint that we just made. And then, of course, we have to add to viewport. What are we adding to the viewport? What's our target? Main HUD. Compile and save. Now when we hit play, we have our widget. We are rockin' and rollin'. But you'll see that it's on the same variable that we set when we created the widget. So that's not a functioning health system. To create a health system, go back into your 2D Sidescroller character where we just created the widget and added it to the viewport. And over here under variables, you'll see character animations. That's one that we made and is moving right. That's for movement. We don't really need to mess with that at all. However, we do want this plus icon under variables. And under variables, you're going to get a boolean, which is a true or false statement, but our new variable is going to be called health. And our progress bar is working with a float, so just for the sake of simplicity, where you see boolean, hit float. Vice versa, you could highlight it and go over on the right side and hit float. Compile and save. So this is going to be our health default. A float is going to be 1.0 as to where an integer would be 100. So let's set this default to 1 so that we know that it's full. Perfect. Now, in our widgets folder, go to main HUD, widget blueprint, and you're going to see the widget that we made with a health bar. Highlight the health bar. Actually, there is a more simple method, but I'm going to show you guys how to do this the hard way first. So, with this highlighted, under percentage, where we changed our percentage, of course, you can notice it's 0.5, and that would be a float. But you'll notice right next to it there's this little chain looking thing. And what we want to do here is we want to click it, go down to create binding. So, drag off of get percent, cast to 2D, cast to 2D Sidescroller character. And we have to get an object, we're casting to the character, so we're going to get player character. Now off of here, we want to get health. And plug it right in there. So to recap, we have bound our health bar to this get percent node. Off of this get percent node, we're getting our character, we're tapping into our character blueprint, and out of our character blueprint, we're getting health, and we're binding it to the bar. Compile, save, and now you'll notice that the health bar is full. That's because it's representing the actual health that our character has now. So another way, since we're going to be casting to our 2D Sidescroller character a lot, we want to go into Event Graph, right click, event, begin play. Oh, I guess. We'll have to save that for another time. I guess we're just doing get percent now. Compile, save, and just to make sure that it's working, let's make our for key. On pressed, let's get our health variable and set it. Let's set it back down to half, which would be 0.5. So when it's pressed, half of our life should be gone. And there it is, it's working. I hope this wasn't too overwhelming and all of you are making great progress. And let's see, can we fit anything else in this tutorial? Yeah, let's go into our designer on the top right with our main HUD, and let's look for text. Drag 2 of them out, and with the left text box selected, let's make that text say coins. And on this one, let's default that to 0. And last but not least, so a really important thing that you have to do here is anchors. Anchors are going to make sure that your coin bars and your progress bars all stay at the proper spot on the screen. You can adjust it however you want with the slider boxes, but first and foremost, anchor, top left. Coins, anchor, top left. Value, anchor, top left. Compile, and save. Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.